Joe Jackson is Director of Strategy and Business Operations at Dalex Finance. He's one of the persons who've been sounding the alarm bells to government for many years now. And he is involved in giving counsel to the government. And whether or not this counsel will be listened to, we do not know. But he has been giving counsel repeatedly to government on how to get out of the trouble. We've just called him up tonight again to understand how we can get out of that. Joe, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Good evening, Mario. Good to hear from you. I'm just cautious about saying that I've been given
advice, public advice, not private advice. Whenever you speak on the radio, that's advice. Unsolicited, unrequested, unsolicited, and untaken. What does it mean when the statistics say our debt to GDP ratio is 93.5 and that our public debt is standing at 500, let me get that figure here, 575 billion cedis? What does it mean?
Listen, it just means we owe a whole lot of money. That if you take all the money generated in Ghana in 1 year by all of us, from the president to the lowliest member of the public, from Axim to Zanlerigu, whatever all the money in this country, every little bit, what we owe is 93.5% of that. That's what it means.
Someone has just sent me a message saying that it could actually even be more because total public debt is defined as central government debt, excluding state-owned enterprises and special purpose vehicle debt. So the person says that other debts that we have, such as the Sino Hydro deal, cocoa bills, energy sector payments, etc., are not necessarily captured. So the picture may be uglier if those things have been computed in there, correct?
I think there's a really strong argument for that, to say the debt for which the government of Ghana is ultimately liable could be much higher than this. We're talking here about the debt that most probably has been contracted directly, but the debt that we are ultimately liable could be much higher than this.
Okay, and where does that leave us? I mean, when I share this on social media, a few people have come to cynically say that they want to calculate how much they are personally indebted so that they can pay the government and take a walk. I know that's cynical, but is that that's practical thing?
And I doubt whether it works like that.
But so practically, does it mean you and I are indirectly indebted?
We are indebted. We are in this country. When the government borrows, it takes it to Parliament, and our representatives in Parliament give their assent. So once that happens, you and I have borrowed the money. And no Ghanaian can exclude himself from this process. It is sovereign debt. It is debt that is owed by Ghana and Ghanaians. But I'll tell you what, it is not that sum that scares me. What scares me was a simple statement by the Minister of Finance at the launch of the domestic debt exchange program. What he said was that servicing the debt or paying the interest on Ghana's debt takes up 70%, sometimes as high as 100% of all the revenue that the government makes, of all our tax revenue.
Explain that with practical example.
I'll give you an example. So, Imaro, you owe. Let's say you earn 1,000 cedis a month, and I'll just use that figure as an example. The interest of all your debt, of when all the people you owe come to collect their interest, not the principal, just the interest, it means that you have given up, by the time you finish, anything from 700 cedis to 1,000 cedis of all your income is gone.
That's interest alone.
Interest alone. And this was by the Minister of Finance a few weeks ago when he was launching the domestic debt exchange program. In fact, it was one of the reasons why he said we need to subscribe to this domestic debt exchange program because the government cannot keep it up. That should scare you more than how much we owe in total. To be honest with you, there are countries whose debt to GDP is higher than us. But those countries spend a paltry 10%, 15% of all their income servicing the debt. We are now doing 70% and sometimes as high as 100%. When you are paid and you pay your interest, kaput. Anything else you do, you have to borrow. That is what she's there.
We have already been told that our debt is unsustainable, but the figures that keep coming just keep scaring us the more. The government is currently wrestling with individual bondholders in an attempt to get some more support before we go under the IMF program. That seems to be facing a lot of opposition. What do you reckon can happen now? Because tomorrow is a deadline for the bond. I mean, the groups that are fighting the government have succeeded in getting lots of individuals to reject it, even though there are people who may do it. What happens in the next month or in the next 2 months? And what does this mean to our IMF plan?
Well, a few minutes ago, I got a statement signed from the Individual Bondholders Forum, signed by Senor Jose, and I do believe it is correct. And effectively what it said was that the Ministry of Finance, after the last engagement, has said to the individual bondholders, you're holding a bond. If you decide not to sign up for the program, we will keep up to our part of the bargain for you individual holders. And that we will not default in our original bargain with you. But we would like you to sign up. But if you don't sign up, nothing will be held against you. It was very categorical, and maybe it is a diplomatic way to exclude the individual bondholders. Because now it is obvious that if you're an individual bondholder and you decide not to sign up, you will still get your money when it is due.
Can the government live up to that, though? Because clearly it would be unable to honor that pledge or that commitment or that contract with you. That is why it came up with a debt exchange program. If the government had an alternative solution, it wouldn't have dangled that before us. What I'm trying to say is that the government practically cannot give you back your money, can it? Even if it wanted to. So if you don't sign on to the DDE, you've lost your money essentially, or?
No, that's not what it's saying at all. It's saying the statement from the forum says that if you don't sign onto the DDP, you may not be able to sell your bond on the secondary market. But when it's time for the government to pay, the government will pay. My assumption is that the government is now going to undertake other activities, including reducing its expenditure to make up for the shortfall of individual bondholders possibly not joining this program.
Where can the government look, or where else can the government look?
Oh, remember that the Individual Bondholders Forum gave the government a really comprehensive document on where it could cut. And the IEA also did something similar. So I don't think the government is lacking in advice in where it should cut. Some of the issues are quite clear. Cut capital expenditure, cut the size of government. And this we've been saying for a long time. It is the will to do it. But there are definitely ways in which the government can cut expenditure and maybe spare the individual bondholders. And that's what I believe the document that just came out says.
Very well. Let's leave it here and keep an eye and see what the government will do after tomorrow. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you, Mario. But we thank God for small mercies. If this is true and we've got an agreement, that means that we are one step closer to the IMF program, and the doomsday scenario of a complete and total economic meltdown has receded a bit. We thank God for small mercies. We
thank you for giving us that assurance, sir. That's Joe Jackson. Amen. That's Joe Jackson, who is Director of Strategy and Business Operations at Dalex Finance.